has the word study in it for a reason. Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome. I'm Kenneth Yanes, Coordinator of Study Abroad at the City College of New York, and my co-moderator for today is Dr. James Biles, Associate Professor of International Studies at City College as well. Today we'll have a student presentation from two students who participated on the City College Service Learning Program in Northern Thailand this past winter session. Vanessa Restrepo, a senior, and Vivian Ari Shibata, senior as well.
We went to Chiang Mai. It's the largest city in northern Thailand. We went with a group of 13 students. We divided our time between giving English classes to students in a small village called Reentry, and we also studied NGOs in the area.
And so we saw a lot of NGOs that had to do with street children, drug trafficking, or prostitution. And so we were able to see them in action. We were able to see the places that actually run these programs.
So this is a picture of our group, all 13 of us, by the Golden Triangle. It's called the Golden Triangle because, well, to the left is Myanmar, we're standing on Thailand, and to the right is Laos. So the river between Thailand and Myanmar is actually really small. A small little boy could just swim over.
I went to an Aka village. The Aka are a minority hill tribe people. I received a scholarship to do my thesis research there. I decided to do my thesis work on the presence of Christianity in that village because that village was founded by missionaries back in the 50s.
When I first went to northern Thailand, I wasn't really sure what I wanted to do research on. I think that's the point. We go there and we figure out what we want to learn about. And a lot of us saw this conflict between Myanmar and Thailand. And the thing is, we saw those children on the bridge. A lot of them crossed over. A lot of them do make it across into Thailand. But once they're there, they have no rights whatsoever. And that's why there's so much sex trafficking there, because these children are at risk. And so my research is basically on border policy, refugees, and how it affects humanitarian crises such as the sex trade and the drug trade.
You think of research sometimes as science, and science is portrayed often as sort of this neutral activity, right? That, but it's not. I mean, it's not detached from reality. It's the reality. It's something that means something to you, that reaches you somehow, that you're passionate about. That's what you really should be thinking about research, because it's the passion that's going to make it, worthwhile.
We had like 6 weeks of ESL training when we were still in the country
Before leaving.
It was a once-a-week meeting. We would meet for 3 hours?
3 hours.
3 hours. But it's not just ESL. We also had a little Thai lesson, and then we also learned a little about NGOs before. I guess questions to ask NGOs.
Language skills are very useful, if not essential, for studying abroad and for communication. But theory and also research methods, I think you should be thinking ahead. If you're thinking about studying abroad, next fall, you would ideally, I think, hope to maybe take this kind of coursework before you get there, because you can't snap your fingers and go back to Italy or go back to Thailand.
And actually, I have a little trouble finding sources because a lot of them are in different language. And actually, a lot of NGOs have done great works in getting sources too. Like Human Rights Watch does a lot, and so does Amnesty.
It really made me think about what I wanted to do as a career and what I want to study in grad school. So it really finalized my decision to study something in the field of international
was actually thinking, maybe I'll work for the private sector. There's more money there. But I feel like after this trip, my passion kind of
Yeah.
turned towards more NGO work or helping.
Also,
Yeah.
I'm taking an interest in teaching abroad, teaching English abroad.
A lot of times, study abroad is great for the student studying abroad because it helps us to understand and get a better sense of difference from our perspective. But sometimes, I think there's another type of difference that's important, and it's getting an understanding of difference from the perspective of the host country.
For Sade and Zion's family, we were roommates. They've had students before at their home, but only Caucasian students from America. So when they met us, it was kind of like it was this new form of American that they never knew before. And like I know when we left, they were like, "Oh my God, we're so happy that you came because now we know about Jamaica and Dominican Republic when we never knew about that before." So
I took out my map, which I brought, a giant map. I brought in front of my host father, and I said, I'm from here, here, and here. So I said, I was born in Tokyo, I lived in Singapore, my mom's Taiwanese, but I live in New York now. And so he's like, what? This is America? And then
And a lot of the people who I interact with, like my host family, may never go and travel to America. So it's, in a way, they get to become global citizens through their interaction with you.